Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Cigar Chat, brought to you live on CigarFederation.com, broadcast around the world in the Armed Forces Radio Network. We'll see if this show makes the cut today or not.
I was about to ask.
Thanks for hanging out with us today. We've had some scheduling conflicts, and our guest couldn't make it today, so it's just Logan and I BSing for the next 58 minutes. If we can get that far without saying something stupid, we'll see.
Like that.
What's that?
Nothing, dog. I forgot to set a timer.
That's all right. Anyway, thanks for checking in. Appreciate it.
Why are you guys here? We have no guests.
Either way, everybody's asking if there's going to be giveaways. So,
listen, you weasel.
I don't see it happening but I mean, I don't know. What do you got?
Yeah, I mean, what if I just came onto your show and asked you to give me free stuff? I mean, what would you think about that?
Well, that's what they're doing.
I know, but let's pretend they had a show.
I see.
They've been running for 4.5 years and developing industry relationships, and I just walked on their show and said, "Hey, give me free crap."
Yeah.
What'd you think of
that? I'd say it's pretty.
I'd say you'd probably take offense. No, I'm just kidding. So if you're here for the giveaways, you can probably just, as my father-in-law used to say, wish in one hand and poop in the other and see which one fills up quicker.
You know, it's funny. I used that phrase the other day, and Dana had.
Was it because of me?
No, I've heard that before. And Dana had never heard that before.
Really?
Yeah, so you've never heard that phrase? And she says, no. I think I use hope in one hand. And
no, it's the same thing.
Yeah, same thing.
Dream in one hand. And
yeah, it's all the same thing. And she never heard it before. And then she told me that I was disgusting. So it didn't go over
Dana,
too well.
Listen, Dana, if you want to hear the disgusting story, just ask your husband.
Don't tell it.
I'm not going to. Just ask your husband what the story I just told him before air that made him throw up in his mouth a little bit.
Yeah, it was bad times, man. That was not an attractive story. Are you smoking anything?
I am.
I'm all jacked up, so I'm not really smoking tonight.
I'm smoking the tattooage Reserva. I think it's the J21.
Yeah.
I've been on quite the man, I'll tell you, is that I'm becoming a creature of habit.
It's true.
I am very much a creature of habit, and I will say that I've been buying a ton of cigars lately, but they're all the same thing. Like my last 5 purchases have been involving something Roma Craft, something Atelier, something something Tatuaje, and that's about it.
Something dark side.
Something dark side. Let's ask some questions. I can't believe people actually ask questions.
We do have questions. We'll get to them.
And what are we calling this? Is this like just the open air mic night kind of deal?
It's just BSing with Rob and Logan. That's what it's called.
That's the best show you're ever going to hear, people.
Absolutely. I'm not smoking tonight because I'm fighting off a little thing again, and I smoked yesterday and paid the price, but I'm sipping on a fresh Pliny the Elder double IPA from Russian River. It was quite lovely. Went up there a couple weeks ago.
What's that taste like? I'm not like a big drinker, and you're not a big smoker, so
it's a lot. It's got a lot. It's very hoppy, but it's got a lot of pine notes to it. A little citrus in there as well.
Like pine nuts?
Pine, like pine trees.
Hence Pliny the Elder.
Well, it's Pliny the Elder, which you're a history guy. You should know who Pliny the Elder is.
I know it was in the Lord of the Rings.
No, yeah, it was an actual. There was an actual real person, Pliny the Elder, and Pliny the Younger.
No, he was. Hold on, I know this actually.
I don't, but
actually I do. Hold on.
Make sure this is a real thing.
No, there was. I want to say that. Wasn't it like a northeastern Indian tribe?
Nope.
Am I wrong?
It was Gaius Plinius Secundus, commonly known by his
in Italy, obviously
anglicized name Pliny the Elder. He was a Roman author, naturalist, and natural philosopher.
There you go. I at least knew he was Italian.
He was also a naval and army commander
of
the early Roman Empire and personal friend of Emperor Vespasian, but close. Whatever.
You know what he built? The Colosseum. He built the Colosseum.
There you go. And he was born 23 AD in Como, Italy, and he died in Stabia, Stabiae, Italy, in 79 AD. So
That
he
was the
lived a
year
good.
that was the year the Coliseum was built.
Yeah, he lived a good 56 years, which is kind of a lot back then, isn't it?
I mean, if you were over 40, you were doing good.
That's what I'm saying. Anyway,
40, 50, you were doing all right.
so he was a real person. And there's also a Pliny the Younger, which is a triple IPA version of this that is available now. Like for 2 weeks, they make it, but you have to wait in line for like 4 hours. You can only get 2 beers. They don't bottle it. You can't bring it home. You have to drink it there.
That seems kind of silly.
No, people wait, man. Wait.
People come from miles around. They load up their wagons to come get Pliny the Younger.
Absolutely, dude. It's a big deal. And some other places around the Bay Area get a few kegs here and there. The trick is to find the place that's getting it and know when they're getting it and get there kind of early without them advertising it. It's like impossible. I've never had it. But
can I ask you a question?
You can.
Is the beer really that good, or is it all marketing hype?
It's a little bit of both. Well, I mean, it's a lot like cigars, right? Like there's certain cigars that are highly sought after and they're hard to get. Are they the best cigars?
Like name one.
Like the Tatuaje Monsters aren't really in that category anymore, but like any of the Unico stuff, the Liga Privada Unico stuff. I mean, sure, you get it pretty easily, but you've got connections. Not everybody has connections. So for the average guy who's trying to pick that up, when he sees it online, he freaks out and buys it. Is it really that good? Or is it like, well, check out what this cool cigar that I'm smoking?
Yeah.
You know,
I don't know.
I mean, think about it though. A lot of the time when it's a really exciting cigar, you finally get your hands on it and you smoke it. How often are you disappointed?
A lot.
Well, there you go. You answered your own question.
That's why I don't go crazy.
This is fantastic beer. This Pliny. I can. I mean, there's an empty case right in the back there. I drive an hour and a half to get a case of this stuff.
So was that their first beer that made them famous?
Yeah, this was for Russian River. Yeah, it was.
So why don't we just brew beer out of my garage? We'll call it Genghis Khan, and then we'll just make it super limited.
Because nobody else is doing that.
No, but I'm telling you, we could do it better. That's our marketing plan.
Oh, it's Tatuaje Brewing, dude. I'm gonna be the master brewer.
I'm really surprised he hasn't done that.
I've already worked it out with Pete. We've contracted.
Yeah, well, you're going to be going back to get your degree in what's it called, viticulture or something?
Viticulture. That's making viticulture is wine, I believe.
That's what I just said.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to be a viticulturist.
Well, I thought that's what it's called. Like, because didn't you say the school has like the best program in the world for it or something?
UC Davis has a great program. They've got a master brewers program, and they've got just like a professional brewers program. They're two different programs. The master brewers program, like you look at nobody cares about this, but the prerequisites are like microbiology and physics and like all kinds of crazy stuff, pre-calculus and things like that. Because it's pretty scientific. I would love to do that. I don't have all the prerequisites. I'd have to go back to school just to get that, and then to get into the program. The 2017 program's already full.
Damn.
And the 2016 program's just starting. So I'd be looking at like 2020 if I wanted to do something like that. But the good thing about if you wanted to brew your own beer, you don't need to do that. You could just get good at brewing on your own.
Well, here's the thing. If Bernie Sanders and or Donald Trump get elected, we probably won't be here in 2020. So I wouldn't worry about signing up.
Yeah, I'm moving. Either Canada or Ireland. I'm not sure which.
Me and Ted Cruz are going to go back to Canada.
Yeah, what the hell? Just take off and get the hell out of here. We actually do have audience questions.
Well, let's ask them because it doesn't really matter what we say.
I mean, basically, we've gone through 9 minutes more than I thought we'd get through. So,
dude, you and I, if we just like literally, we could talk and not even realize. I haven't even realized we've been talking because I've been playing with the tattooage label over here, and we've just been talking about nothing. And you know why, Rob? Because I actually saw the other day on Facebook where we had been friends for was 5 years on Facebook, I think.
Wow.
I know, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it might have been 4, but I think it was 5. And I was gonna really comment something sweet, like you're the light of my life, but I was gonna say something nice, like even though I hate you, Rob, you are my best friend on the internet, or something. I was gonna say something nice, but then I just said, you know what, F it, I'm not.
Then you said no.
I said I don't want to have him frame that.
And then you came to your senses and moved forward. No, I think we could actually do a show like this, but we'd have to talk about like 1 or 2 or 3 specific cigars or something.
We could.
We're not really set to do that at this point. I mean, we could. I'm going to jump into some of these audience questions here, though. A question here from Eric Johnson. I went to elementary school and high school with a guy named Eric Johnson, and actually college too.
He was like there's a lot of Eric Johnsons.
Yeah, this guy spells it with a K and an E, Johnsen.
So Johnson.
It's Johnson, but Anyway, he says, "What's up, fellas? What's up, Eric?
What's up, dog?
Thanks for tuning in." Okay, straight cut, V cut, or punch? What is your preference, Logan? Fire away.
I need to qualify the question.
It's different, like with torpedoes and stuff.
Right, like what ring gauge am I smoking? But typically, rule of thumb, my personal opinion, is you cannot go wrong with a Zycar XI1 or XI2. Well, preferably not the 1, but XI2 or XI3 guillotine cutter. Because, young Padawans listening out there, I think every other method is inferior. Because 1, a V cut is cool. I just don't like it. Tickles my tongue. I don't like it. And punch cut, I feel like if you don't know how you're smoking, I feel like a lot of tar builds up when you punch for some reason. I don't know why. I just feel like that. And if you're going to get the maximum amount of smoke on your cigar and the best draw, in my humble opinion, just snip at the end with a guillotine. Call it good.
I'm kind of on board with all that. I do have picked this one up at IPCPR last year. Jared wanted this.
Yeah, well, I don't. Let's rephrase. Logan got it, and then Logan horse traded it to someone, and then you horse traded to Jared.
No, I still have it. You horse traded it to me.
Oh, I thought I horse traded to Jared. Oh, I promised I would give it to Jared, and then I totally screwed Jared over. That's right.
Yeah, I traded you that pipe.
Yeah, I actually smoked that thing. That thing sucks.
Got this one too.
Oh, that's a nice one. That's the camo one.
The digital camo. I think these are both the XI3s.
Probably the 2. I think
they're the heavier ones. I'm not sure what the difference is, to be honest. But for the most part, lately, I've been using these guys. These are also Zycars. Apparently, I'm kind of a Zycar whore here. The 007, so the 7mm, and the 009. These are the 2 that I've been using the most lately. Even though my 007, which I don't know if you can tell,
it looks pretty clean.
It's got kind of a little wrinkle right here.
I can't really see it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, right there.
Kind of funky. I might bring that to IPCPR and see if they'll just swap it out for me there. But I've been doing. I like the punch because I like it maintains the shape of the cigar. It's more comfortable for me. One thing I've never done though with the torpedoes is trying to punch a torpedo where you punch it on the side or on the top.
I've never done that.
I've never tried that. I've never tried it.
I don't think I'm about to start. I will say, don't use one of those. Don't use one of those. You know those shuriken cutters. You know what I'm talking about?
No,
dude. Go out and Google. I don't even know how to freaking spell it. It's like SHRIKEN, and basically what it is, it's like a thing you put over the top of your cigar, and it's got like 5 or 6 razor blades.
Oh, the little
like ninja into it, so it doesn't really cut the cigar, but you get smoke, dude. I couldn't even imagine trying to smoke out of that.
Yeah, I've seen people that use that. I'm not a big fan.
No,
I do like the scissors.
Scissors are great. I had a pair for about 5 years until they got stolen in Bangalore, India. Freaking Indian TSA jerkwads. Yeah,
I've never owned a pair, but I've used them.
They're nice.
Yeah, it's a nice tool to have. But beyond that, a V cutter. I've got a V cutter, also a Zycar around here somewhere that I like, but I have to be in the mood for it, I guess. I don't really see the benefit one way or the other. I don't notice a major difference.
I will say is that when you V cut, I feel like you're much more likely to mess up the cigar because you're taking out much more of the cigar. Where when I feel like when I'm just doing a guillotine, like it's just like surgical. Like I'm like, I don't know, surgical.
You have to have a good cutter though.
You got to have a good cutter. Like if you're using a dollar cutter, do me a favor, go jump off a cliff. Actually, don't do that, but go get like seriously, go spend 30. I mean, people waste all types of money in cigars, like, you know, buying crazy humidification device and all this. Only thing you really need in cigars, I mean, I've got probably 500 cigars we have for giveaways in a Tupperware. Like it doesn't matter. All that matters is having a good cutter and lighter will make all the difference, I think.
Yeah. You know, I've never actually had a really nice lighter.
I mean, I just used the Jeeps, but I mean, I'm talking like the ones that aren't like janky, like Cigars International ones that like break after 10 seconds.
I still use the one that I made at IPCPR last year.
That one's legit though.
Dude, I love this lighter, man. It freaking works every time.
Isn't that the one you got from, was it, don't tell me. They do the Psycho 7, right?
Yeah. Yeah. John had a big prize pack from them, and there was like 3 of these in there.
Yeah, right? I remember I brought them to. I mean, I had to mule the crap to John.
Yes, you did. And there was, I mean, it was just sitting there. So we had these SigFed stickers, and I, what do they say? I bastardized the logo that was on there, and I replaced it with another one. And I use that all the time. It's just a single flame. It's one of these old school Bugatti ones, which this was like, yeah, as you can tell, this thing's got some miles on it. This was the first slider that I ever got. And it was like, I bought like a box of Diesel Unlimited or something like that.
Oh man,
back in the day from cigar.com, and it was you get a free lighter.
But they're not bad, man.
I mean, this thing's 5 years old, but it's kind of, I mean, that's the biggest. I don't know if you can even see it. That's as big as the thing. It's about at the end of its rope. But I mean, this is legit, man. And I mean, it was free, so I don't care if I lose it. And that's it. Although I will say, if they do the Kruger DuPont lighter, I might make up for all the other lighters that I've never purchased and buy one of those.
I would hear you on that.
Yeah, those are expensive though. Let's see what else we got here. Let's see. Okay. This one's from Marty Messina.
Marty.
This is one guest that has not been on CigarChat that would make your dream guest. Like, who's your dream guest to have on the show?
You want me to go first?
Yeah.
You know, honestly, you have to realize Rob and I have been doing this show for, you know, like 4.5, 5 years. And like, we've pretty much had everyone on the show that you could possibly think of. I mean, yes, there's a few people that we haven't had. Like, we haven't had Rocky, and I'm losing a ton of sleep over it, of course. But, you know, like, there's a few. Like, we just had Pete Johnson. So there's a few that we haven't had. But, like, you have to realize, like, I've been in Nicaragua enough, and I've been around, not trying to be like, ooh, look at me. But, like, I don't see the celebrity in people anymore. You know what I mean? Because I've seen behind the curtain. So I don't get, like, jazzed up. Like, I get more jazzed up when we have a guest that, like, for example, Kendall Culberson was, like, one of my favorite, and Pete, too, but one of my favorite guests because he, like, actually talked about tobacco. It wasn't like, oh, look at me, I use A-grade tobacco. It's the best tobacco in the world. And I'm like, well, what does everyone else use? Well, they don't use the same stuff. Well, yes, they do, because there's only so much tobacco. Like, it's just,
triple
I don't know, man. Yeah, Kurt, yeah. Level 7 rollers.
Moving forward. Yeah, I don't know if I have like a dream guest. The one guy that we haven't had on that I think would just make a phenomenal show is Dion.
That'd be a good show.
He doesn't like to do this kind of thing. I know that he's done shows with Coop before. I don't know Dion all that well. I mean, we did the interview with him at IPCPR, and that was still one of my favorite interviews. And it was just kind of an impromptu thing. But I think he's got a phenomenal palate, and he just about everything that they make is pretty damn legit. Even though at first I kind of had to come around on Illusione a lot, and there's some that are misses for me, but I mean, not everything's going to hit everybody's profile or palate. So that's probably, if I could pick one person. I don't know if I'd call him a dream guest, but I think it would be a great show. So thanks, Marty, for the question on that.
Good question. You don't win anything tonight, Marty. Sorry.
Are we giving anything away?
No.
So this is Bob Dog. He's checking in. Bob Dog just has a comment, not a question. He just wants to say, Logan, have a great time on Safari, bro. and I can't wait for the Nicaragua Cigar Chat episode next week. So Bob Dog is pumped for that.
Well, let me tell you, Bob Dog. Thank you, sir. I appreciate the kind words. Let me just say, if all goes according to plan, which
probably won't.
Normally it does not. But if it does, and the internet's working, and Venus is in the 5th sign of Urigo, or whatever they call it, where the planets align or whatever.
Sure.
I don't really know. But if it works out, all the stars align, there'll be some very, very special / breaking news from Esteli live at Drew Estate next Thursday.
Yeah, I don't even know about this. So.
You do not. Nobody knows.
I'm just as curious as you guys are, but we're not going to hear it, so we'll just
not tonight. So you might as well just tune in next week. Cliffhanger.
Let's see. Fast Jimmy, always one to play to the crowd. Says, Weasel, 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 will there be a Cigar Chat giveaway for listening to Rob and Logan BS for an hour and 15 minutes? No, Jimmy, no giveaways tonight, bro. Especially not to Canada, dudes. Don't even bother.
Oh, yeah, dude, I ain't shipping up there. I need one of those, like, magic 8 balls that you can shake up, and I'll say, not likely. You get one of those for me for Christmas.
Outlook is not good.
Dude, Outlook is not good.
Wait. I can get you one of those for Christmas? Mm-hmm. You know how many times I've got you a Christmas present?
Let me think. You bought me I can actually remember because I have a phenomenal memory.
I think it was just once.
Actually, no, it's twice, actually.
Oh, really?
You got me a 4-pack of Papas Fritas one time. You did. And then you got me the America F Yeah shirt.
Do you ever wear that?
Dude, I'm going to wear it on Safari.
That's not the shirt that you were telling me about earlier, though, is it?
The shirt that I was telling you about earlier.
You threw on the floor?
Oh, no, it's not that. That was like 9
Dude,
years ago.
that story's brutal. I don't even know if that can make the off-the-air cut.
Dude, that was like 12. Hold on. That was like 12 years ago.
So it's physically impossible for that to be the same.
It's physically impossible.
Okay, I'm going to stick with. We'll go with a theme here. We got a bunch of questions from Jimmy. Logan, this is a question for you.
Yes, sir.
How happy are you that Rob is missing the Nicaragua trip this year? The Cigar Federation Cigar Safari 2.0 is kicking off in like 5 days, and I'm not going.
Not even 5 days, man. It's like
3
Sunday. Yeah. Sunday at 9:55, we leave from Miami to Esteli. You know what, Jimmy? I'm a little sad.
A little tore up.
And here's the reason. Not because I really give a crap about Rob coming.
True story.
But you have to realize that as much crap as Rob and I talk to each other, really, deep down, we hate each other more than everyone actually thinks.
Yeah, that's true.
It's true.
That's
like
actually,
brothers.
Yeah.
Like brothers.
Yeah, it is kind of weird, right?
Yeah, it is kind of weird. But would you be the older brother or would I be the older brother?
I think I'd be the older brother.
I got to think probably true because I feel like you're not quite as wild. The younger one's always the wilder one and gets away with more stuff. So I'd have to say it would probably be.
I got away with everything as a kid. I was the third. I was the youngest. I was the only boy. I got away with everything.
Dude, I remember my brother, man. My brother is such a clinic, but he I remember like when I first got my license, like my curfew was like 11 o'clock at night, which is like nothing, right? And I remember we had in my hometown where I'm from, we have like a huge town square, right? Like courthouse, everything. It's like middle America, like to the core, right? And people would just go up there and they'd park and they'd talk and drink beer, whatever, right? Well, I remember it was like 10:45 and I live a good 10 minutes outside of town. So like I was pushing it to get home and I'm setting up on the square with a couple of my friends. I'm getting ready to leave to go drop them off home and then get home. And I see my mom's car rolling around the square. I'm like, man, my mom's going to see us. We're drinking beer. We're going to get in trouble. Car pulls up right next to us, halts to a stop. Dude, it's my brother and all of his friends. My brother's 3 years younger than me. So he was like 13 at the time.
Yes.
And I was like, what are you doing up here? He goes, dude, I'm just partying, man. And I go, dude, like, how'd you get the car? I was like, I have to be home in 15 minutes. Like, how are you out? He goes, oh, yeah, I just told Mom we're going fishing. I go, at night? Like, what? So, needless to say, my brother got away with everything.
Wow.
Because I blazed the path for him.
Just doing some fishing in the dark. That's funny.
I mean, the song is not a lie.
That's funny. Is that a song?
You and me go fishing in the dark,
Well, I guess it is.
lying on our backs and counting the stars. Where the cool grass grows. Something like that.
Is it not? It's not about fishing. It's about sex, isn't it?
I think so.
It sounds like it. Yeah.
I mean, I think it's a little promiscuous.
Yeah, it sounds like there's some NC-17 stuff happening there.
There's some Kid Rock going on in there.
Speaking of NC-17, this next question has strength and size in it. This was from Brandon Barnett. Brandon, thanks for the question, bro. Would you prefer one type of cigar over another for a beginner? Or do you just try all regardless of strength, size?
Are you talking? Is that a question for him as a beginner, or a question at me?
Let me rephrase Brandon's question because I think I understand what he's trying to say here. He wants to know, as a beginner, would you recommend a specific type of cigar, specific size, strength, whatever, or would you just say, hey, just jump in and smoke whatever you feel like?
That's a great question.
I mean, I'll give you some
answer
time. I'll give you some time to think about it. When I started smoking cigars, it was really just me. I didn't really have anybody in my neighborhood that I would meet up and smoke with, or anybody in my family or anything like that.
Farted.
And
sorry, man.
Awesome. You could have just kept that to yourself.
I know. It's totally cool now.
No, it's good. And so I went online for most of my information, did different forums and things. And one place I was really comfortable with and got a lot of information was from cigar.com. They had a forum over there. And they still do. And there's a lot of guys that are still active. June, who is on, I think he still does.
They do What Embargo whenever Seth feels like it.
Yeah, What Embargo. And June's a really cool guy. And that was where I met him. Met a lot of good folks over there. And I basically just kind of learned from that and just bought whatever I thought I would like. Based on, my wife bought me a 5-pack of cigars for Christmas and a tiny little humidor. She had no idea what that was going to turn into. But I just kind of jumped in and tried everything. Whatever other people were excited about, I bought. I sought out and I smoked it. And I figured it must be good if everybody's talking about it. And after a while, you start to figure out what you like and what you don't like. So I wouldn't say, hey, start with a Connecticut Robusto from Macanudo. Smoke a Macanudo. I would just say, just get whatever you feel like. I mean, if something calls out to you, but at the same time, make sure that if it's something really strong, you eat something before you smoke it. And if you don't, that's kind of a rite of passage, right? If you smoke something that's a little too strong for you, you pay the consequences, just like drinking.
Man up, son.
Yeah, man up, exactly. So, I
disagree.
I would just say, just reach for whatever you feel like. If something calls to you and you want to smoke it, smoke it.
I humbly disagree, Robert.
That's okay.
And here's why. Is that I feel like, and I don't know the statistics on this, because it'd be an interesting study, but if you have never, if you've dipped or smoked cigarettes or have had any other sort of nicotine in your system, now I'd probably go ahead and agree with Rob that you can probably just reach for whatever you want. But if it's the very first tobacco thing you've ever consumed that has nicotine in it, if you've ever done that and you smoke like a Neanderthal, dude, you're going to be over a toilet vomiting. Like, that cigar almost makes me vomit.
Now, I agree with that's a very extreme example.
But you know what I mean? Even like a Tatuaje, it's not even, for me, it's not even that strong. But for someone who's never had nicotine, it's going to mess you up. And I would say if that is the case, or you've never smoked any cigars, you need to probably, and I'm not saying a Connecticut Robusto, but something on the lower end of the scale, because if you, it's kind of like, I'll give you an analogy, is that I absolutely hate gin. I don't really drink at all, but I hate gin because one day, well, this is back in high school. This is a really great story, but I'm not going to tell it. But anyways, I drank way too much gin and ended up vomiting. It was just bad news bears. And it's a great story. I really want to tell it, but I'm not going to. Let's just say I hit a parked fire hydrant and dude, it was just bad.
No, wait a second. Wait. Back up. So you hit a parked fire hydrant?
Well, yeah. So you just want me to tell the story because it's really funny.
Like, when would the fire hydrant not be parked? Is my question.
Well, no, it was parked, but it wasn't like I hit it go 80 miles an hour.
No. When would it not be parked?
Yeah, but it was more of my car was in neutral and hit it. That's what I mean by parked. You know what I mean? But anyways, so barely hit a fire hydrant, and anyways, don't like gin. And I feel like with cigars, if you have a horrible first experience because it's just too strong or too much for you, you're going to be unlikely to smoke again, unless you just got balls of steel.
Okay, I'll agree with that. I will agree with that. I mean, for me, I had cigars that I enjoyed off the bat. That, like, a Grand Habano Corojo No. 5 was the first cigar that I really enjoyed, and so that's on the lighter end of the spectrum. So
yeah,
I mean, it's a medium, but it's not going to blow you away. So, but then right after that, I mean, I'm smoking Man of Wars and like Ruinations and all that.
Oh yeah, dude.
That aggressive stuff that AJ was making. And it was the same with beer for me when I transitioned into craft beer. I jumped right into all the stouts and all the heavy stuff, Imperial, barrel aged, all that stuff. So, I mean, I guess it just depends on your personality. I don't know, but go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, dog. I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's just my opinion. Yeah, I mean,
you definitely want to start with, you don't want to start with a Neanderthal. I don't imagine that most people would, but I mean, don't go for something that's gonna, really kick you in the teeth if you know that you're not ready for it. And if you're smart enough to ask this question, then I think you're smart enough to know the answer. Smoke something that's manageable, that's accessible. It's not going to. I mean, you don't start out with a cask strength Islay whiskey for your first Scotch. Do you know what I'm saying? So
yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah, I would. Yeah. So
I really think we need to start a show, Rob, where it's just the Logan and Robin hour.
Absolutely.
Because I actually think we're more insightful than a lot of our guests are.
I'd beg to differ with that a little bit, but this is kind of fun.
I don't know, man.
It's kind of fun. One of these days we'll do it where I can smoke. Wow, we got even more questions coming in.
I know, because this is like knowledge hour. I'm actually dropping some knowledge here.
Well, let's see. Okay, so a follow-up from Fast Jimmy. How sad are you that you're missing Nicaragua trip this year? I am pretty bummed, frankly. I mean, when I knew I wasn't going to go, and then we had this trip that was supposed to happen in the Dominican, so I thought that was going to be like, okay, well, I'm not going to Nicaragua, but I'm going to Dominican, which is cool. I've never been. And that ended up getting postponed, probably indefinitely at this point. We'll see. But, yeah, I'm bummed, man. But at the same time, I've got somebody's got to hold the fort down here at SigFed while everybody's gone.
SigFed West.
So it may as well be the guy who's late with everything.
Yeah, that's true.
But no, it'll be fun. I'm actually looking forward to next week's show because we could do it like this, where like last year we did it. It was kind of hodgepodge, everything, whatever. We were all drinking, and there was no real rhyme or reason to it. This time I can actually host it. We can take audience questions, and it could be, I think, a little bit more insightful because it is fun to be there, but at the same time, you learn a lot. And you don't realize how much you learn until you start telling someone else about it who's never been there. And they're looking at you like, whoa. Because they don't know. They've never been there like that. So, yeah, Jimmy, I'm bummed, man. How bummed are you? You're not going either.
I know.
You were there. I'm missing. Are you guys going to zip line again? Do you know?
I don't know, man. I know we're building houses for the indigenous.
Yeah, I'm miss. That's the one. That's what I'm missing out on because I think that's really, really cool, and I think that's a cool thing. We talked about it a lot yesterday on sharing pairings, but that's something I'm missing out on. But whatever. We'll do it again next year. We'll see. Maybe we won't build houses next year, but maybe we'll be back next year. Who knows?
Who knows, man?
Marty coming with the heat. This is a good question, dude.
For Logan?
This is for both of us. Okay. Best and worst cigar chat guest ever.
Best and worst?
Best, like the best cigar chat guest ever and the worst. And he says, no PC answers. Really tell us.
Oh, I mean, dude, what you see is what you get, man. Worst? Like, I'm going to have to qualify this because we've had, man, I'm going to probably really offend some people right now.
I can think of 2 really bad shows.
I can think of 2, and I know exactly who you're going to say, and those are like cop-out answers.
No, one of them people can't even find, man.
I've got them hidden, but you can find them if you really look. But you're going to say Cuttas.
Yeah.
It's one. And then the other one would be...
Ooh, you might not know this.
I know, AKA.
No, that was my most uncomfortable episode.
I know, but that would make it the worst because
it wasn't
Rob
the worst.
was like,
I was just uncomfortable because it's, I mean, I don't want to get into it, but
it was friggin' awesome.
It was uncomfortable for me. I get sensitive when you start talking about
The indigenous
groups of people and you label them something they don't want to be labeled. That bothers me. So the terms that were being used didn't settle well with me, and I'm not embarrassed by that.
Let me just go on the record.
Pretty good about that.
It wasn't like they were racial slurs, so we don't defame people on Cigar Chat.
It wasn't slanderous. It was just the tone that it was used in, and I tried to reel it back in.
You did,
which I've gotten really good at. But
you've definitely upped your game and reeling it in since then, because that got way
that got out of. Well, I gave up after a while.
And I was in India, so it was like 6 a.m. So I was like, "Yeah, let's talk about."
No, the episode that I was going to say was one of the worst was Taboo.
Oh yeah, that was horrible. Yeah, that guy.
There was a lot of. The video was bad. You were attacking his business plan. It was just
what business plan?
Well, yeah, I don't want to rehash, but those two would fall under as my worst.
Worst guest.
Oh, we had that other one. We had another one that was something the third.
Wilson or George Alexander the third.
Yeah, that was That was a bad episode.
You know what the worst one was, and I even hate saying this because I really like the guy, but was Wilson Adams.
Yeah, I like the guy too, and I like the cigars as well. It was a tough episode because he was hard to see, and it was.
And let me just say, when other manufacturers are coming to you and saying, "Man, you really carried that interview," that's not good.
We've heard that a couple of times. A nice guy, really good cigars. It was something about the show was just, it got funky and it stayed funky. It didn't really. Sometimes it can start off funky, but then somebody cracks a joke and everybody loosens up and it's good. It never loosened up.
It never loosened up, man.
It never loosened up. Exactly. Yeah.
Best one though.
Yeah.
Best one.
Don't say Pete because that's a cop out.
No, I'm not gonna say Pete. I'm gonna say the best show of recent memory. I mean, there's some obvious ones, right? Like the Gary Griffith, blah 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 blah. Like, stay here while I go.
You guys talk amongst yourselves.
I mean, that was a good one.
Highlight.
That was a highlight reel. That wasn't the whole episode. I mean, probably the best one of recent memory was Kendall Culbertson, because that guy actually talked about tobacco, and you can tell if I'm really enjoying the show, I'll talk a lot and ask a lot of questions, or at least try to verify stuff. But if I'm, sitting here and, watching the Mundial go into space, I mean, you can kind of infer whatever you want to infer from that. But that was one of my favorite shows from Knowledge. But I think my other favorite show was when we had Eddie Ortega on, and back in the day when we got to use the sound effects, and the entire time was just like, ta-da, like just complete nonsense.
I was going to say that's one of the guys. I miss Eddie.
You know where he works now, right?
He's something Unlimited or whatever though.
He's with Quality Importers, and he's like their sales manager.
Yeah, so he's not making his own cigars anymore.
I mean, I think he still makes them. I mean, they do distribution for him, but I would assume they're just selling out of them. But he actually manages a sales team for Quality Importers over the phone.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Well, good for him.
I know. I mean, hey, I like Eddie, man.
Yeah, I miss that guy.
I'm really glad I didn't take that job offer with him, though.
Best shows. I'm trying to remember. We've had some where it's just like I leave that show and I'm thinking, man, that was just an awesome show. And we talk about how I feel like I have to look at a list. Like, is that cheating if I pull up our YouTube channel?
A little bit, but
and scroll down and just kind of look. So let me see. Let me see what we got here. On my channel. Just bear with me here, fellas. Well, there's Ben Lee. Let's see. That was pretty funny when you said that at the beginning of the Pete Johnson episode.
Dude, I know, man.
Because that was our 200th episode. Ta-da!
Was it really?
Well, we called it that.
I mean, I don't think that was actually correct.
I don't know.
I need to verify that because Surgeon did call it our 200th episode. I might need to correct that.
Yeah, I mean, he tried to tell me.
He's calling it 201.
Yeah.
So we went from, hold on, I'm going to tell you. Ta-da! Hey, man, this is Cigar Chat, brought to you on CigarFederation.com. Broadcast.
So are you telling me what episode it is or what?
No, man, I'm trying to do it because I have to search a little bit. Okay, we went from 150, which was actually, sesquicentennial, not bad. Went from 150 to 200. Just jumped up.
We just bumped up. What the hell?
We just bumped it up. Yeah, but, 150 was not bad. That's a hell of a milestone.
I feel like we're past that though.
I don't know, man. I need to go back and do the math because I don't believe that's correct.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, honestly, does anybody watch this crap anyways to call me out? I don't think so.
That's what I'm saying. Let's just stick with 200 and call it good.
Well, we're technically on 202 right now, just so you know.
Something like that. I don't know. I mean, we've had some really good episodes. I mean, the Jonathan Drew episode was good.
That was 100.
Actually, I go back, and I'm not even talking about Cigar Chat, but the Pipe Dummies episode that we did with Drew Estate was really good.
I know, man. We miss you on Pipe Dummies, but I got to tell you, I know you don't watch Pipe Dummies because I don't watch Sharing Our Pairings because that's just how we roll. But do you know what Jared's mom and dad, his name almost was?
Rob?
No, Moonbeam. So I call him Mother Effing Moonbeam.
His name was almost Moonbeam?
And yeah. So like maybe 10 episodes ago, he's like, we were talking about, what would you have been called if you were a girl? I was like, I don't know. And Ben was like, oh, I would have been this. And Jared's like, well, I didn't have a name for a girl, but my parents almost named me Moonbeam Johnson. And I go, are you freaking serious?
That would have been genius. He would have been a baseball player.
Dude, I know, man.
Like Graham.
Dude, I know. But anyway, so we just, every time he screws up, I'm like, shut up, Moonbeam. Like, dude, it's beautiful.
I actually have a Moonbeam story.
You got a Moonbeam story?
I do. When I was in high school, I was the senior class president, oddly enough. And,
really? I find that hard to believe.
No, I was. I was actually vice president, and then the president got impeached because she didn't make grades, so I took over. And
so you're basically like Ford.
Yeah, and at graduation, I had to read the names. We had the class president and like a student association president. So he and I we switched off reading the names of the graduates. And we had like 500 kids in my graduating class. And there was one guy named Joey Riken. And I remember this guy because he had really long hair. He was kind of squirrely, but really quiet, but he was kind of like a hippie. And he didn't really say a whole lot. I didn't really know him. But his middle name was Moonbeam, and we were supposed to read everybody's name. And the principal told me not to read his middle name. She told me not to. And like, really? I don't remember what the punishment was if I did, but I'm like, I graduated. You can't do anything to me. So I remember and I think the word got around that I wasn't supposed to read it. And so here he comes.
You had to read it, right?
And I said, Joey, and I actually emphasized it. It's like Joey Moonbeam Riken. And like people cheered because they all knew that I wasn't supposed to read it. And like nobody really knew.
Did you get in trouble?
No, nothing ever happened. I never talked to the principal after that. But I think she just didn't want me to read it. I don't know why. But that's my
Moonbeam. The kid was embarrassed of the Moonbeam name?
No, he wanted it read.
Oh, well, then you did him a favor. You'll probably remember that.
And like he had 20
like years,
smile on his
20-year
face
reunion. But you probably already had your 20-year reunion, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was last year.
Old bastard.
It was, I graduated in 1995.
Hold up. For real?
Yeah.
Damn, son.
Yeah. 95, dude. It was last year. It was my 20 year.
Woo! When Dana graduated, she's younger than you, right?
Yeah, she's 2 years younger.
Okay.
So she graduated in 97, I guess. 97 or 98. I'm not sure which. Let's see here.
Let's ask another question for Logan. I feel like I'm dropping knowledge.
Do you want to talk about how you came to be in the cigar industry?
How did I came to be in the cigar industry? You know what?
If you want me to ask the question, I'll ask it. Otherwise,
I can tell you the very quick answer.
Okay.
I've been smoking cigars since college, and
smoking since I was 2.
since I was 2 years old, man. FDA
no,
got no
baby.
ish on me, baby. Anyways, so smoking cigars since college, did the whole corporate job. And then with the job, they're like, yeah, we're going to enable our employees to go out and social and talk, on behalf of the company. But we want it to be 80% about you. What do you do? And I was like, nothing. I was like, I like cigars. So it ended up leading into, starting a blog and then meeting Rob over the internet, starting CigarChat, shutting down my site, going to Robbie Raz, shutting that down, moving to Cigar Federation, buying Cigar Federation, having the biggest podcast in the world, and just crushing people.
Yeah, that's all we do.
That's pretty much sums it up.
Just counting bodies like sheep.
To the rhythm of the war drum. We used to make pledges, listen to that in the frat house, just to freak them out.
Dude, I love Tool and Perfect Circle. I love those.
Dude, that's some creepy stuff when you got a blindfold on.
Yeah. Have you ever listened to the words of the song The Nurse Who Loved Me?
No.
I think that's the name of the song. But it's twisted, man. It's a good track, but it's like you're singing along and you're like, wait a second. What am I singing to? Let's see. This will be fun. Jimmy was all over it tonight with these questions. He says, hello, I'm Jimmy, first-time caller, long-time listener. Thanks, Jimmy. We appreciate the support.
He's freaking awesome.
Rob and Logan, two-part question. 1, what will you never smoke again and why? 2,
Ooh.
If you could have any cigar right now, even out of production, what would it be?
Oh.
And
for my will never smoke again, I apologize in advance because I'm Canadian. Haha, just kidding, Jimmy. It's a Canadian thing. Dude, first of all, I hate a lot of cigars. And I'm probably the most critical on anyone of Cigar Federation on cigars. But the worst cigar, you know what? There's worse, maybe not worse ones, but the one in recent memory, very rarely, because I can smoke a dog turd, but very rarely do I have to throw it out. And I'm not even going to say like a common one, like a Rocky Patel or any of that. The one that I smoked recently.
Don't steal mine.
No, dude, I don't think I'm stealing it. Like, it was hyped to me during IPCPR. A guy named, you guys don't know him, but Andy Scharfman was like, man, this is the bee's knees. This cigar is going to absolutely wreck you. It is so good. It's so strong. It's so good.
So this is the cigar. That's a surprising pick for me.
And Andy Scharfman. And it was the Cesar Profeta. I smoked literally a quarter of an inch. And I remember Rob being like, man, is it strong? I was like, dog, we need to get out of here because I don't want to throw this cigar down in front of him because this thing is freaking disgusting. It tasted like turds.
They did hype that up like it was like the strongest cigar, like strong as balls, as you would say.
It was horrible.
I've got two cigars that I will never smoke again. One is Back 9 from Swingers.
Well, that's a given.
If you remember that, look up the review. I think we gave it, like, as a group, we gave it like a 76 or something.
It was pretty bad.
And 2, this one it wasn't really a big cigar. It was kind of a budget cigar, actually, from the line. But it was the Big Payback from Room 101.
Yeah, that was not good either.
I remember I got through like a quarter inch of that, and I was like, dude, this hurts. It's so bad. I can't. And it wasn't like it was super strong or anything. It was just, ugh. I felt like I was smoking a newspaper. And actually, the Room 101 Connecticut was like that too.
I try to steer clear of everything Room 101.
Yeah, a couple of Room 101s in there.
Except the Masters collection's been pretty good.
Yeah, some of their stuff is really good. But those 2 cigars did not agree with me.
They're not very good.
And if you could have any cigar right now, what would it be?
Any cigar out of production?
It could be even out of production. Anything live or fake. Not fake, but live.
I have like a top 5. And not that I love Illusione stuff that much, because unlike Rob, there's about half of what he does I really like, about half of it tastes like crap. But would be the Illusione Phantom 2010, the Illusione Singular 2012, the San Andreas. If I could smoke one cigar the rest of my life and smoke that, then I would be just happy camper. Next one would be the Viaje Leaded. The next one would be the Ezrajan Jamais Vu. No, not Jamais Vu. The Inception original in the Corona size with the cello. not in the box, and that's specific. And probably the last one would be, as much as I hate to even say this, as the guy frustrates me, would be the Roma Craft Aquitaine.
So my list, in no particular order, if I'm just going to go down this list, it would be, I'd say, well, where am I going to start here? Okay, I'll say, I'm going to be real specific. A 4 Kicks Mule Kick with about 8.5 months of age on it.
Okay, because I got a whole box now.
Yeah, but that doesn't have 8.5 months of age on it.
No, it's got about 4 years, and
yeah.
Some sucker's going to buy that for way more than it's worth, and not like them.
What else? I had a bunch, and now that like while you were talking, I was thinking, oh, there's a bunch out there that I would really like to have again. You know what I would actually like to have again is, and I've got a couple of them left, is that original blend of the Cro-Magnon knuckle dragger.
Before it had bands with the darker wrapper, dude. Yeah, you're right. That's
the old school one.
Those were good.
Yeah, dude.
Those were good.
That was legit. Tatuaje Bella Ancre Reserva. I can't find that anywhere.
Okay.
If I could find that, I'd buy a box right now if I could find it. I love that cigar. And that's not even that old.
Yeah.
That's 3. Do I need to come up with 5?
You don't have to.
Is that how we're playing here? We're running out of time. You know what? If someone could find the cigar.com Brasilia, because the cigar.com does these house labels, and the Brasilia, they don't make it anymore. But I had that. They had like a crazy deal. I got 20 of them for $60. And that was a cigar I had at my wedding. So if I could ever find any of those, I would love to smoke that. And that's probably it. I mean, there's more, but I mean, off the top of my head, that would be my answer. Good question. How much time we have left?
We got a few minutes.
Let's see.
Ask another question. I'm like answering questions.
Yeah, I'm going to scroll down here. Housekeeping kind of question. This one's from Man Angel. Man Angel, I got some beer for you, dude. I've owed Man Angel beer for like a year now. It's kind of.
He's such a good dude, man.
He is, and some of this is coming your way, brother. I just need to actually put it in the freaking.
It'll only take about another 6 months, so
yeah, no kidding.
Keep holding on, brother.
It says, speaking of Cigar Safari, how far in advance will you know the dates for next year's trip?
Well, I'm hoping, much like I did last year, to plant the seed at this year's trip for next year's trip. And then over the course of a couple of months, that idea fosters and grows. So come about IPCPR time, I'll have a set-down meeting with Drew Estate and Jonathan, and then they'll say, okay, we're doing it this time. Okay. So this year, just as an example, I knew probably August, Rob?
Yeah.
August for February trip. The previous year was much more ad hoc.
Yeah. Okay. So hopefully far in advance.
Hopefully at least 6 to 8 months.
Okay. Okay, so I'm sorry, I'm scrolling through some of these questions. Man Angel wants to know how I became a part of SigFed.
How you did?
Yeah, I'll just tell him the story. Because he says, Robbie, you did reviews on your own before becoming a part of SigFed. How did you get recruited to be? I
wouldn't say it was recruited.
Well, no, I mean,
kind of.
Yeah, I mean, I remember I got a phone call from Chris and Kyle, and they were actually getting ready. We've talked about this before. None of this is I'm not breaking any rules here. I don't think.
No.
They were talking. I mean, they'd started Cigar Federation before they started Ezra Zion,
and it sucked.
And it had been stagnant for about a year, and they were just going to let it go. And they called me up to see if I had any interest in running it, and for Logan and I, and I mean, I was interested and talked to Logan about it, and blah blah blah, and that's kind of how it happened.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not a very sexy story. Although I was getting on an airplane when they first called me, so that
really,
and they're like, yeah,
that much too.
No, I was flying to North Carolina, and
yeah,
and
is that when we did Paul Stulak's interview?
Yeah, it is.
That's how great of a freaking memory I have, Rob.
Wow, that's clutch. I was wearing my father-in-law's velvet smoking jacket.
You were, and you're on that white couch in front of the window.
That's creepy that you remember that, actually.
Rob, you might not know this about me, but my ability for recall of unimportant facts is quite good.
I'm that same way with movie lines.
No, I'm not.
If I see a movie once or twice, I usually kind of, if someone quotes it, I'll know. Well, let's see. Jimmy wants to know, who's your daddy and what does he do? No?
Like in a literal sense, I don't speak jive talk, Jimmy.
You've never seen Kindergarten Cop. See? Kindergarten Cop.
Man.
Oh, this is a fun question here. So Bob Dog says, so Rob, analysts are predicting the Giants and the Cubs will win 100 games each this year and meet in the NLCS. Your thoughts? I don't think either one of those teams is going to win 100 games, but I could definitely see the Giants and the Cubs playing for the National League pennant, and that would be very sexy. That's my opinion on that.
What's baseball?
Yeah, we got time for one more question.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, another one from Brandon Barnett. Brandon, we appreciate it. And I'm going to paraphrase because I tried to read this question. I know what he's saying.
35 seconds.
That's all we've got?
Yeah, that's all I got, dog.
Okay, so have you ever gotten sick from a cigar? Is kind of what I'll. That's
no, because I'm not a pussy.
I had one cigar jack me up, and it's not even a strong cigar. It was a nub Habano. Jacked me up. It was the strangest thing, man. I remember when I smoked it, and it was kind of raining outside. I'm sitting outside, and I was just kind of hanging out, and I got up, and I was all woozy. I was like, man, I just didn't feel good. And I guess I didn't eat like all day. So then I went to go take a shower, and like I had to sit down in the shower. It was bad times, man.
Dang, dog.
From a nub Habano.
Dude, that's like totally gangster.
That's yeah, that's gangster. That's lame.
You know what? I want to sign off with this episode. If you miss one SigFed member that used to be on all the time but is no longer around, fat kid.
Yeah? I miss Man Angel. He's not really around that much anymore.
He's still around. But fat kid, man, and his Superman Snuggie.
Yeah, and the Superman Snuggie. You're right, fat kid. Right.
I know, man.
That's
brings
sad.
back good memories.
That's a downer.
I know, man. It really breaks my heart, man. I love that guy.
I'm stunned that this is actually going to play on the Armed Forces Radio Network. It's kind of awesome.
I think this is probably one of the better episodes we've ever done.
It was kind of fun, and we got through without saying anything.
Somehow, are we doing it after dark? Or are we just calling it square?
Yeah, hang on. Let me wrap this up, guys. Thanks for tuning in to another Cigar Chat. We appreciate it. Everybody out there in the Armed Forces Radio Network. As I say on a regular basis, you guys are built to do something that I'm not built to do. So thank you for what you guys do, keeping us safe and fighting for our freedom around the world. Next week, we'll be back with Logan and the crew live from Esteli, Nicaragua. That's going to be a blast. So you guys want to check in for that. That may not play on the Armed Forces Radio Network because I imagine they're going to be drinking a little bit. But we'll catch you guys next week. No. Everybody have a great weekend. Stay safe. And find us on CigarFederation.com.
Have your pet spayed or neutered.
How the fuck did we get through that without saying fuck?
I don't know, man. There's a couple times where I was like on it. Like motherfucking moonbeam.
I don't know how oh, excuse me. I don't know how that happened, man.
So Rob, what we're gonna have to do is I think based on the success of this show, you and I are gonna have to start doing another weekly show.
No.
Yes.
I do 2 already, man.
I know, but John's going to have to man up, and Jared and Ben are going to have to man up, and we're going to have to do this because I'm telling you, this is one of the best shows we've done in a long time.
It's a lot of fun. Maybe we'll do it monthly. Like once a month?
Monthly, man. Monthly.
But then it'll lose its luster if we do it every week. It's kind of like, remember when you were a kid and you had to wait for like the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown episode every year or something like that?
We didn't. My mom we were way too Christian to believe in Halloween. You know, that's the devil's holiday, Rob.
Or like you always had to wait for something. Nowadays, kids get whatever they want whenever they want.
That's true.
You can watch the Great Pumpkin.
First boner.
What?
You said wait for your first. I said my first boner. I don't know, man. I was trying to be funny.
It's unsettling.
I know.
I'm
Not as unsettling as that story I told you before the show.
It's not. I'm unsettled. No, I mean, like back in the day, like we had to earn it. I remember when I was a kid and MTV when they actually showed videos, and that was it. And the Thriller video. I'm aging myself, but you guys know I'm not the youngest youngest tool in the barn or whatever the hell. But when the Thriller video would come on, like the world would stop because that was the shit. Thriller video was the shit. And I would go and I'd run to the phone and I'd call all my friends. Hey, the Thriller video's on. Click. Thriller video's on. Click. I'm telling everybody. I'd miss half the video because I'm calling my friends to tell them it's on. And they would do that for me as well. You had to wait for it. You kind of had to earn it back in the day. Now it's like I can watch whatever I want on demand. Kids today are fucking lazy.
I mean, the amount that the world has changed.
It's a hell in a handbasket.
Shooter. That's the same story. So Shooter actually heard the story.
Shooter heard it?
Yeah, well, I told it on Pipe Dummies.
Oh, I see. Yeah, well, we're not going to tell that.
It was pretty good.
Yeah, and there's Man Angel. I got a few white hairs in the beard, but what are you going to do? Logan, you need to get a haircut, bro.
Dog, I know, man.
You're catching up to me.
It's getting a little wild, man. It's getting a little wild. Like
grow it out and donate it, dude.
Dude, you know
it's
what?
It's only going to take you another year and a half.
Well, you know what? It's because like somebody was asking me about it. It's funny because somebody was asking me about it like at work, and I was like, I'm gonna like, why haven't you cut your hair? And I'm like, well, because I felt bad because I was in kind of an important meeting where I should have been a little more clean shaven. I was like, yeah, I'm planning on donating it, before my hair falls out. And now I kind of like feel obligated that I kind of need to do it.
You're a fucking liar, dude.
I know. So that's why I can't be a liar.
And you lied about it.
I know, man. I did, and I feel horrible. Like I'm definitely going to hell. But I got a little pony.
You know what's funny? I'm pulling my stuff together for my taxes, and this shows you how good of a job I did on my taxes last year. I found the receipt for what is probably the last haircut I've had, and it was July of 2014.
So hold up a second. So why do you? Can you write off getting a haircut?
No,
a business expense.
No, I had the receipt was just tucked in a box with a bunch of other receipts. It was like you save your receipts, and then sometimes like random shit ends up in there, like a coupon to
not really
I don't know, Round Table Pizza or something.
Like no, not really, Doc.
Like random shit. Well, like stuff ends up in my wallet, right? And that's where I've got my wallet's got two little slots, one for the cashola, which is always empty, and one for receipts. So I just plug everything in there, and sometimes like business cards or random shit, it just ends up in there. So this receipt somehow was still in my wallet at the beginning of this year, or beginning of last year, and made it into this box. And it was July 17th, 2014. It was probably the last time I got a haircut.
Damn, son.
I mean, I went and got a little trim just to tighten it up because it was getting kind of scraggly some points. But
get your fade.
Yeah. It's been a hot minute, but I'm getting there. It's close.
I think you look beautiful, Rob.
Well, take the beanie off, and you can see like the glare from.
Oh, dog, man!
It's
like,
bad.
Hey, let me ask you a question because I know you're losing a little bit of hair, not too much though. You're aging well, like a fine wine. So when I was taking a shower the other night,
just clumps and clumps coming out,
dude.
Like from the fly.
I wouldn't say clumps, but it was definitely like I do it now, nothing comes out. But in the shower, like you pull you're washing your hair and you pull on it, and it was like a handful, like maybe 3 or 4 strands, and it kept coming, like it didn't stop. But then like whenever I do it now, like I just got one. Huh?
How old are you?
32.
Ah, you're fucked. No, it's like no, it's because your hair's getting longer.
Am I molting?
No, when your hair gets longer, it gets tangled. Like for me now, it's like, I mean, I've always had a bad hairline in the front, but in the back, I'm solid. Like I don't have bald spots or anything like that. I've always had a shitty hairline, but I don't lose a lot of hair. Like it doesn't fall out. Mm-hmm. But the longer it gets tangled and shit like that. Nobody gives a fuck. But yeah, it's just because it's longer, and you notice it more.
I know, man, because I'm getting all worried. Like I just had to go buy like a $30 bottle of shampoo, keep my shit from falling out.
Get some Rogaine, dog.
Dude, I need something because I ain't trying to go bald, look like your ass.
Yeah, it's bad times, dude. Question from Swede. I'm actually going to take this question.
Hey, Swede.
How old were you both when you smoked your first cigar?
14.
Now, is that like a real premium hand-rolled cigar?
No, God, no. That was a Black and Mild.
We're talking about
some FDA. Use me as an FDA case.
Or some Black and Measies?
No, Black and Easies. No, dude, it was the Black and Mild. Some Doja. No, not really.
Rolling up.
But I remember how much that pack of 5 Black and Mild from Middleton pipe tobacco cost.
It was like $2.99.
No, it was $1.
99 cents.
Dude, it was $1. Make you hollers. It was pretty awesome. Except it really cost me $5 because I had to give 5 to the person, and then they got 4 and I got a pack. But whatever.
I don't know how old I was when I smoked my first cigar. I smoked a lot of things before I smoked cigars. I smoked beaties, those like Indian cigarettes,
I never smoked those. I smoked cloves. A few.
Oh man, I ate cloves. You talked about how you had a rough time with some alcohol. I remember when I was in high school, there was this one, my buddy Josh, and it was Josh's house that we would go to get jacked up during high school.
That's how it works, man.
And my parents always kind of knew, like everybody knows, like that's the place where they go and they're just going to get screwed up. And my folks would always be like, okay, well, just be careful. Don't do anything that, blah, 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 whatever. But they were cool about it. And I mean, we would get jacked up and we'd stay there. We would do anything. But I remember one time we had these, they were fuzzy navel wine coolers.
Oh, hails to the yeah.
And my buddy Brian, who actually that's how Dana and I met. And he actually married us. He got ordained through the Universal
Just to marry you?
Yeah. And
kind of awesome, sort of.
Yeah, and he was the officiant at our wedding. Every time I have a story where anything bad happens to me, Brian's there. He was like a horrible influence. But we were sitting there drinking, and I smoked cloves back in the day, right? And so like Dejarums or whatever they were. And
dude, I remember those.
And it's just like, dude, those are so bad for you. Oh my God, they're so bad. And just thinking about the taste of it makes me nauseous right now. But this was the last time I smoked them. I smoked like half a pack one night, which is freaking nasty. And Brian was making me these. He'd get a fuzzy navel and pour it into this gigantic cup, like a big gulp cup, but then fill it up with all this other concoction of stuff. And it just tasted great. And I had 2 of them. And Josh, God bless him, his family won lotto at one point. And so they had like this huge house with all this crap in it. And the downstairs bathroom was like a truck stop bathroom. It was nasty. And I was all up in that toilet, bro. It was so bad. Oh, it was so bad.
Sounds horrible, dude.
That was the last time I smoked cloves. or had fuzzy navel wine coolers for that matter. But
I remember one time in high school, I drank 14 Smirnoff Ice. I really regretted it the next day.
I could see you drinking some Zima. Zima was right up your alley.
Oh, dude, we used to. I mean, dude, you got to realize, like, when I was coming of age, like, of course, we drank a lot of Nat Light, which was cool. But like, sometimes, man, you got to drink what you can get. I remember drinking Zima with Skittles in it. Like, I mean, you just whatever.
I remember my first beer.
I remember my first beer too.
Well, I've got pictures of me as a baby holding a beer bottle. I don't know if I drank it or not, but I remember the first beer that I drank. It was at my buddy John was like my best friend from like elementary school through right before we got to high school, and his neighbor. They were on vacation and we broke into their garage, and I mean we were like 12. And,
oh, dude, I've got a way worse story than that.
And they had cases of Miller Lite. And it was like the old school Miller Lite cans, the white ones that just had light on it,
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And it was in the middle of summer. So these were hot. So we drank warm Miller Lite. That was my first beer.
Gross, dog.
Bad times, yeah. Absolutely. Well, are we going to wrap this up or are we going to keep going?
I mean, I'm good either way. I think we should do a poll. Should we do this show weekly?
All right. Well, let's put a poll up on the site. Let's be official.
How many? I mean, but how do we measure success? Let's be all corporate about it.
3-1.
3-1. I mean, I think we could also just so you know, I think we could jazz it up a little bit and pick like say 2 to 3 cigars and not review them per se, but like, you know what I mean? Like make it a little more cigar focused.
Yeah, we could.
And we could call it the Variety Hour.
I don't know. We have to come if we're gonna do it. We got to come up with a name. But I think weekly might be a little bit aggressive, especially with baseball season coming up.
All
That's
I
all I'm
heard
saying.
was just fucking bitch, bitch, bitch. That's all I heard.
Bitch. Excuse, bitch.
That's all I heard.
No, I'm down. I'm down. Hey, all right. Last question. And this is from Joshua Cruz.
Hey, Josh.
Is there anything y'all would
Y'all.
change about the cigar industry?
Oh, God. This shouldn't have been the last
It
question.
really should. Pick one thing.
Oh, but there's so many.
Just one.
You go first. I need to think through what my answer is going to be because there's so much I would change about it.
I would appreciate if there's one thing I could change about the industry from the way that we deal with it is just people being more responsive on email.
That's
And
a good answer.
Like for me, there's nothing more maddening than having an email exchange and everything's set and it's all good to go, and then when it comes down to it, dark shark. Like that bothers me when people just go. They just disappear on you. And I recently talked to somebody who was in the cigar industry, still is, and we actually had him on the show fairly recently. And he was telling me that's one of the things that really fucking bugs me about this industry is people can't get back to you. Nobody is that busy. No. Nobody is that busy where they can't respond to an email or a text or a phone call, where they can't just say, "Hey, bro, I got your message. I'll get back to you in a second," or something like that. Nobody is that busy, and that's true. Nobody's that busy, but for me, that's the one biggest flaw that I deal with in this industry is lack of communication.
Here is something I would change. There'd be two things, and I'll make it quick. The first thing is, huh?
I said that's good because I really have to pee.
You get your prostate checked, dog. You strike the whole party, eh?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm yawning. Two things I would change, and I mean, this could be a good or a bad thing, but everyone in the cigar industry is so full of shit. Like, I mean, seriously, and everyone's full of shit. I mean, first rule of the cigar industry, and this is another Skip Martinism, is that everyone's full of shit, and it's true. Everyone is full of shit. Whether you have reviews,
I don't know if that's exclusive to the cigar industry, though.
But it's true. But I feel like it is more in the cigar industry because the problem is, this leads to my point, is that there's no way to really validate as a consumer if something is real. Like, and what I mean by that is, if I say, hey, I use Aganorsa Medio Tiempo, which is one of the most hard to find rare tobaccos on earth, just because of the way it's grown and the ability for it to yield and shit. But like, if you do that, it's very hard. Like, yes, I can smoke it and I can say maybe, but definitively, I probably couldn't even do that. I don't think a lot of people could. But if you say, hey, I have this operating system that goes this fast on this iPhone, you can validate that. You know what I mean? And that's what I don't like about the cigar industry, because a lot of people make claims that are just completely not true. And I wish everyone in the consumers, I wish every consumer had the opportunity to go on a trip. And I'm not talking about Cigar Safari. I'm talking about like a Skip Martin raw dog trip where it's like undercover. Like you're seeing real dog shit. And I wish every consumer had the opportunity to take that trip, because you would learn that the industry really isn't what it is. I'd be one.
I'd have one retort to that.
What would be your retort?
As far as, validating what's used in a particular cigar, a particular blend, that's not exclusive to the cigar industry. That's to any industry that has a product that's handmade and consumed, essentially. Because you could say the same thing about craft beer. You could say the same thing about wine. You could say the same thing about scotch. They tell me that it's 20 years old, but how do I know? You know what I mean? So it kind of is what it is.
But I think there's a lot more. Maybe not integrity is not the right word, but I feel like there's a lot more rules and process and regulation in like the wine industry or the liquor industry, right?
Well,
than there is in cigars.
You don't know it.
Huh?
Maybe that's just because you're looking at it as an outsider.
No, maybe that's true.
I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. And
maybe
the other thing,
lied to all the time.
I think probably are.
The truth is out there.
The truth is out there. The other thing I would change about the cigar industry, you took the emo one. That one was really, really good. The other thing I would change about the industry is fucking cigar events.
What about him?
Fucking hate them. And like, I fucking hate them because, like, let me rephrase my statement: is that, hey Charlie,
Come here, bud. Hey.
So I like cigar events that, like, if it's in, like, if you have, Pete Johnson come to your local shop, and it's like a thing where it's just your shop and him, and whatever. I think that's cool. I think that's great. But like these big events where it's like, Cigar Fest and fucking Serious Cigar Festival or Texas Cigar Festival, I think this kind of shit, it just absolutely undercuts the industry on so many levels. Because first of all, you're getting people in that want a deal and are getting, buy 2, get 17 free, right? So you're basically training the consumers that, hey, if I want to get cheap cigars, I need to go to these events. 2 is you absolutely decimate the local markets. Like, for example, in Sirius, like Texas Cigar Festival at Sirius, all the local shops suffer for a month or 2 because all those people aren't buying cigars. And then the lastly is that most of the time, even if you are a consumer and you walk up to someone, it's more of, what can I sell you? Or, here's your free cigar, let me throw it at you, versus actually getting to talk to the customer in a one-on-one setting.
Those are all very good points.
Did you actually listen?
I did. No, I think you're right. It is kind of training the customer that, come to these events and you'll get cheap shit. I agree with that. Yeah, I agree. I don't necessarily go to a lot of cigar events.
I don't.
There's not a ton really in my area.
Because we have one here every week, virtually broadcast on the internet.
So in a way, we're kind of just as guilty. We teach people to come to watch our show, and they get free.
I guess we are. I guess. Fuck Logan. Fuck Rob.
Yeah. Seriously. Let's just.
No, but I would say we fall in the shop category because yes, you're getting free stuff, but those are okay because you actually get one-on-one time to learn about the brand. Like big events, you don't learn about the brand. You show up and you say, "Here's my trick or treat bag. Hey, throw my."
Yeah. It's much more anonymous. You're right.
Very anonymous.
And that was the whole goal of Cigar Chat really to begin with, was to give kind of the average guy a chance to
an opportunity
to talk to the folks that make the cigars that they enjoy.
Right.
And Trip, I'm telling you, Trip gave me the biggest compliment. And I don't think I didn't tell you this.
No, but I want to hear a good compliment right now.
Yeah, I don't think he didn't realize it, but he said, all the guys, like the folks who make the cigars that I really enjoy, I feel like I know them because of Cigar Chat.
Well, that's a good compliment.
And that's kind of exactly what we try to do. So,
yeah.
On that, let's end on that because
let's end on that high note right there.
Yeah, we'll mic drop. But yeah, no, that was fun. I'm down to do this a little more often. We'll see.
Or we could just make it a cigar chat where we don't have a guest.
Yeah, that's easy too. But we'll definitely have to talk more about like actual cigars.
Yeah, that's true.
We can do that. Anyway, so yeah, Logan, thanks for taking the time. I have to use the bathroom, so I'm going to go. Guys, thanks for tuning in. Podcast listeners, you guys are out there in droves. We appreciate it. You download us from iTunes. Give us a rating and a review, please. We appreciate that. We got a 5-star rating, Logan. I
know we do, don't.
I think we're like 59 reviews now, something like that. So the number is going up, but I think it could go up faster. So if you guys could do that, that'd be great. And we'll be back next week with Logan and John and the crew live from Nicaragua. That's gonna be a blast. So Logan, safe travels, man.
Thank you, Robert.
I'll talk to you when you're in Nicaragua.
I will. All right, guys.
Bye bye.
All right, adios.